I firmly believe, my Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. In the Gospel of today's Mass, Jesus says, "You have heard that it was said to your ancestors, 'You shall not kill,' and whoever kills will be liable to judgment. But I say to you, whoever is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. And whoever says to his brother, 'Raqa,' will be answerable to the Sanhedrin." The word Raqa means foolish or empty-headed. In other words, an insult. Sanhedrin is one of the Jewish tribunals. And so Jesus, you want me to love. And you came to show us that the fifth commandment, "You shall not kill," encompasses more than just murder. It includes anger, giving in to anger and staying angry with somebody. And to stay angry at somebody implies, most likely, a lack of forgiveness, perhaps even hatred. Lord, you know very well that I am capable of staying angry at someone for any number of reasons. For present or past offenses, even perceived offenses. I could be angry at somebody even though the other person didn't even mean to insult me, but I took something personally and I've held on to it. I can stay angry at someone over disagreements, over differing opinions on topics such as religion or politics or even sports. Jesus, you want us to love. And whoever is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. And so we can ask our Lord, who's my brother and who's my sister? Well, certainly those who share the same baptism, but all of us have been created by God, even those who have not been baptized. And so in that sense, he is the Father of each one of us because he loves and has created each one. And that certainly unites us. Lord, you want us to love. You gave us the new commandment to love one another as you have loved us. Help me have a compassionate heart. Help me be understanding with others. There's a very well-known American novel, which was later made into a movie. It's entitled To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And the book is about many things, among them racial injustice. And it's based loosely on events that happened during the author's childhood near her hometown in Alabama in the 30s. And the main character is a lawyer. He's a widower, and he has two children, a boy and a girl. And the girl, her nickname is Scout. And Scout's about 6 or 7. She's got a very strong character. She's a tomboy, and she's not afraid of anybody. And there's a scene when Scout is not happy at all, and she refuses to eat her dinner. She refuses to stay seated at the table with her father and her brother, and she storms out. And so her father, who is played by the actor Gregory Peck, goes out to the front porch where Scout is, where she's fuming, we could say, and he goes out and sits next to her, trying to figure out what's the matter? And we discover that she's angry at the teacher who got mad at her on the first day of school because she had gotten into a fight with a boy over something quite silly. So we see her temper come out. And her father listens to her, tries to calm her down, and tries to teach her a very important lesson. He says, all you need to learn is a single trick, and you'll be able to get along a lot better with all kinds of folks. You never really understand a person unless you consider things from his point of view, to climb inside of his skin and walk around in it. So we won't understand people until we consider things from their point of view. To have that understanding. Saint Josemaria Escrivá would say that living charity, more than generosity, is really about understanding. Striving to understand someone else. And then I'll be able to better live that charity, to be generous with that person in the right way, to be able to serve that person in the right way. Lord, help me be understanding of others. As Atticus, that's the name of the lawyer in To Kill a Mockingbird, the name of the father, as he says, right, to consider things from the other person's point of view, to climb inside of his or her skin and walk around in it. And that requires some thinking. It also requires some prayer. How can we understand somebody better? Not in order to judge them, but in order to love them. In order to live empathy. There's a wonderful letter written by the prelate of Opus Dei about fraternity. And he has a section about understanding. And he says, each person is always worth more than what we are able to see with our usual way of looking at them. Each person is going to be worth more than what we are able to see with our usual way of looking at them. We have a tendency to label people, especially to label people according to their defects. Lord, may I not just see defects. And when I do see defects, help me be understanding, realizing that I have defects, and big ones. The prelate of Opus Dei, Don Fernando, continues. He writes, the understanding that is born of love also allows us to see others' defects and faults. Thus, we understand people both with their positive and negative qualities, and we can be sure that the positive points outweigh the negative ones. That is a very important point. And Jesus, I ask your help to be convinced of this, that the positive is going to outweigh the negative. Lord, help me see, how can I live understanding better with others? How can I overcome anger or grudges or resentment and live that understanding? Just knowing that I don't know what's going on truly in someone else's heart. I don't know what they're suffering. And it is probably more difficult than I initially judge it to be. So help me be understanding, Lord. To understand things from someone else's point of view, to consider the situation that they're in, to consider their talents, yes, also their defects, but knowing that each one of us has our own faults and defects to fight against, to grow in, that we all have our defects. Jesus, may I not be judgmental when I see someone else's defects, May I not stay angry at people. Help me. Is there anyone that I'm angry at right now? Do I harbor any kind of grudge against somebody? Have I been harsh with somebody in my own heart about what I perceive to be a serious fault or defect, and I'm not understanding with that person? Jesus, help me. Take my anger, Lord, if I have any. And if someone has anger towards me, I ask that there may be reconciliation and understanding and forgiveness. And so, Jesus, help us, each one of us listening to this meditation, but also everyone in the whole world, to live out what you teach us about the fifth commandment: you shall not kill. That it is not just, of course, not murdering somebody, but it also means not staying angry, and thus living out that beautiful new commandment that you gave us to love one another as you have loved us. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.